everybody. Welcome to Keeping It 100, where we have these open and honest conversations to make sure you get all the information you need to make better health decisions. I am your host, Dr. Kristen Motley. And as always, we got a good show. Now, during the show, you may think of questions. Please put them in the chat. My friend and colleague, Dr. Tyan Thomas, is behind the scenes. She's going to make sure your questions get answered. So just pop them in. And let me just open up by bringing in my wonderful co-host, Mr. George Mink Jr.
Hey. What's going on, Doc?
George just asked me what we talking about today. Me and George met up in person at like 7 o'clock this morning. So I could get a picture of him.
Right. No.
Then we came home. He went to his house. I went to my house. We hopped on Zoom together at 7:30 for our morning huddle. And this dude is going to ask me.
No, I didn't mean it like that. I just meant just the way we're going to go about it. That's all.
Stop, George.
I got my notes and stuff over here. So. But good afternoon, Doc. Good afternoon.
Come on, Agent COVID.
I know, right?
You ready? You always ready. Always ready. So let's catch everybody up on what we've been up to. So last weekend we did an event with the Zetas. Thanks, Tracy Tucker, Councilwoman Tracy Tucker, for inviting us to come through and support her sorority and her nonprofit. George, you want to talk a little bit about it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, great day in Chester. Like, it was other events going on. It was a lot of energy. The health fair had different groups and agencies, just all geared towards health. We got a lot of we got hits though. We had a couple older women come through, get their boosters.
We did boosters.
Yeah, we was boosting that day. And it just was a good atmosphere though. Shout out to the Zetas and everything they're doing in the community. Great day though. Got a lot of good information from some of the other vendors.
Mm-hmm.
Doc was out there doing her thing, moving and shaking. We had a good day. Yeah.
You started off at the Chester Peace March, right?
Yes, I did. So it's just it was a peace march. It was through the Chester Coalition, basically really right around the corner in Memorial Park.
Yeah, they came through.
And they walked through the fair. And
that was dope. I was like, Bria, look, they're doing the march.
Yeah.
So I talked to her about what the purpose of the march was. Then her Aunt Brooke saw her and came through and gave her a hug because Brooke was out there marching. It was great.
Right. So, I mean, it all ties into what we're doing out here in the community. The health fair is big, though. I wish we could just have one every week.
Yeah.
I mean, they're very important, and a lot of information that we have to give to the community. We had a lot of people come to the table, though. A lot of people coming over. I think we're starting to get the message. And I'm like, the movement that we're making, that we're on right now, Doc, we're really creating some things and some big things to come for Chester and all the other communities. And it just was dope. Like, I had a great time. The lady out there was doing her music, her dance class. I like the health fairs. Health fairs make me feel good. I feel good at health fairs.
Like, yeah, they energize you.
Right.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Yana, Zumba instructor extraordinaire. She is amazing, and she's a part of my health and wellness team too. So it was good to see her out there doing her thing. I was like, I don't think I can do Zumba today. It's hot. I don't feel like it. I should have, but I just didn't feel like it. I just wanted to sit down somewhere. So I just sat down somewhere.
Right.
But they looked like they had a lot of fun. So yep. So that was that. I was also going to ask Leslie, can you show the picture of George and Thomas? Oh, well, that's Autumn. So let me tell you about Autumn. So she came with her grandma. She is like a teenager, a preteen, and she didn't want to get vaccinated. She didn't like needles, and she was scared it was going to hurt her. But let me tell y'all, Autumn got vaccinated. She was one person that got her first dose at our clinic on Saturday, and that brought so much joy to me. That is why I do this, so that I can be available, the team can be available, so that when people make a decision to get vaccinated, we are there for them. So shout out Autumn. Good job making the decision on your own, and good job Grandma for letting her make the decision on her own, because sometimes as parents, we take that opportunity from our young people to be critical thinkers and to make decisions on their own. And so she let her wait. And when she made the decision, she came and grandma got boosted. So we just did the whole family that day. So shout out Autumn, good job.
Hey,
I'm sorry, what were you gonna say, George?
No, so there we go. The boys.
There they go. This is my team, the dream team. And we're only missing Bennett. So Bennett was the other male from the team that was out here helping out on Saturday. Thomas there, and then George. And so this is the COVID reset team, two of the many in the COVID reset team. And we're just out there at the table handing out information and just making sure that people's questions and concerns about the COVID vaccines are being answered. They have been trained on trauma-informed care. They know how to engage with the community. They know how to have productive conversations. That was a real important part of what I wanted my team to be equipped with, because having these conversations are not easy. They bring out emotions in people that can make them defensive. And I wanted those on my team to really, have productive conversations so that you can hear them and they can hear you, and you don't have to agree, and that's okay. But I think that as long as they're creating a space where you feel like they hear you is the most important thing, because people just want to be heard a lot of times.
Right. Yeah, I mean, shout out to Autumn. That was a big move. Like when I saw her getting the shot, I'm like, wow, okay. Like you said, that's what it's about. I mean, and then if you have any questions, come ask us. Yep. I mean, like I said, that was the real reason of us like doing it. That's a real reason why I even like really wanted to be so involved and, of your movement. So it's our movement now, and we're doing some good things on it. But seeing her come out and all the other people that's really taking like real seriousness to this, to the vaccination is like, it's important, because that's what some lady said. She was like, I can't believe we still talking about COVID. I'm like, yes.
We still talking about it. Mama ain't going nowhere.
Right. I said, we don't have no choice. She was like, so what y'all doing? I said, we're doing vaccinations. She was like, oh, okay. She said, okay, that's a doctor. I said, yeah, that's a doctor. She's a Black doctor. Yes, she's from Chester. Like, it was like, yeah. So she was interested. And, she came over to the table. I don't really know. She talked to Thomas after that, but
okay, good.
I mean, that's what we're doing. We out here in the community every week. Like, proud of you again, like leading this movement.
Yeah.
Our team, everybody behind it. We believe in it. It's real. And, we just want to take care of our people. So that at the end of the day, that's what it's really about.
Absolutely. I wanted to mention a few people from the Jacobs family. Now, y'all know the Jacobs family from Chester. Stop past the table. A few are still not vaccinated yet, so I had conversations with them, shared some information, sent some information. One of them said they're going to get vaccinated this week and send me a picture. I didn't get that picture yet, so I'm calling out one of the Jacobs female family members. I ain't going to say who it is. I'm just going to say the whole family. I am waiting for my text message of the picture of you getting vaccinated. She could not get vaccinated on Saturday because she didn't want to get the symptoms and have the side effects the next day because she had a commitment. So I let her off the hook. I said, come Monday morning, you better find yourself a vaccine somewhere. So I ain't getting, it's Wednesday. I ain't heard from her. So we'll see. I'll check on her. But, it's just about having these conversations, letting people make their own decisions, but making sure they're making decisions based on facts and not 100% feelings. Because I kind of went through the same thing. Initially, I was not getting vaccinated. It was nothing anybody could say or do. I didn't want to see any information. I didn't want to hear anything. I just knew it came out fast. I don't know nothing about no mRNA vaccine. It just didn't sound like a thing that I wanted in my body. And I was making a lot of decisions based on how I felt. Just as a Black woman, I was like, I ain't doing that. Once I read the information, talked to people who I trusted, talked to people that were involved in the clinical drug process, the clinical trial process, then I got the facts. Then I was able to balance my facts with my feelings and make the decision. It took a while. It took a long time. Right. People were like, how are you a doctor? You ain't vaccinated? Because I ain't, and I'm not getting vaccinated. I don't know how. I'm just telling you what it is. So it took me a while to get there, but I had to get my feelings in check because it wasn't grounded in anything. It was just grounded in how I felt. So once I was able to balance them, I made a decision and I was like, okay, if I felt like this, I know other people are. And this is why we are doing what we're doing, trying to get people out of their feelings. It doesn't mean to ignore how you feel, because the way that you feel is because of your experiences that you had. So it's valid, but you got to bring in the facts, and then you got to balance it and make the best decision for yourself.
Right. And I mean, it's not going nowhere again, Doc. So, I mean, the more of us vaccinated in the community, the more healthier we'll be, you know, especially with the summer approaching, all kinds of summer events.
Yeah.
Just, you know, this one we really like to go outside and be around folks, and we're not wearing masks no more. So, I mean, you still wearing yours, Doc, but I'm just saying, like, you know,
still wear mine.
A lot of people still, you know, but right. So I don't know.
My daughter's school. So my daughter's school had a program, and they had put masks in place last week because they had an outbreak. And then I went in today. I thought everybody's gonna be masked up. Nobody got a mask on except for me and Bria. I'm like, yo, why don't I have no mask on? But I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna mind my business with my mask on, and she gonna just keep hers on. And this is her last day of school, so I was glad to be able to go and support their final presentation. But it was just shocking to me that nobody is wearing masks. But although I can see, if you live in a household where everyone's vaccinated and you're not really around people who are not protected. So in those situations, I can see why people would be more okay with not wearing a mask, because people you're around, you know, are vaccinated. And so even if you give COVID to that person, they shouldn't get too sick that they have to go to the hospital or die. So in those situations, I get it. I still got a baby upstairs. He's asleep right now. He is 2.5 years old and he is not vaccinated. And so I wear my mask and to protect him, because I cannot be giving him a disease. He ain't going to say I gave him COVID. That's all I know. If he get COVID, it ain't going to be because I did it.
Right.
So that's just how I feel. So we stay masked up all the time, everywhere. I know I'm getting on Bilal's last nerve. He is way over me.
Shout out to Bilal, bro. I'm praying for you.
He is hanging in there. Oh my gosh, he is hanging in there, but he is all the way over me and my foolishness. But listen, I ain't gonna be in the morgues with that baby. Nope. No, I will not. So speaking of kids, we wanted to talk about the vaccines for Noah's age group. So 6 month to 4-year-old is on the docket to get reviewed by the FDA next week. Pfizer and Moderna, I believe, submitted their information to the FDA for review. So the FDA is going to take a look at the data, see if they are going to approve the emergency authorization, and then the CDC will make a decision in terms of if they recommend it or not. So we will see what happens with that. I think they meet next week, and I know states are starting to place orders for that age group, 6 months to 4 years old. And so that's exciting for me, because I've been waiting for this boy to get vaccinated so I can get my life back. Right. And so he won't be number 1 or 2 or 300, but he will get vaccinated. So I don't like new stuff. I never did. COVID vaccines ain't no different. So I'll be waiting a little bit. One thing that I learned about vaccines is that when, or drugs, well, no, specifically in the vaccines, is that if there was a thing to happen, a side effect, adverse event to happen, they happen within 6 to 8 weeks of getting the vaccine. And we saw that play out with the Johnson & Johnson vaccines and the blood clots. And we saw that with the mRNA vaccines in the young boys, I think 12 to 15-year-old that had the myocarditis. It's not a thing that happens months down the road. It happens between 6 and 8 weeks. So that's in the history of vaccines. If something went wrong, it was within about 2 months. And so with Bria, when the vaccines became available for her age group, she's 10 now, I waited my 8 weeks, and I wanted to wait longer, but the Omicron virus was in these streets doing the most around January. And so I got it a week before the 8-week mark. So I still waited. And so I'm gonna be waiting with Noah too. So we'll see. George, what are you thinking about the vaccines for
the kids thing? Like you say, I was like hesitant, of course, as an adult, double hesitant for the children. But like you said, it's been around for a while. It's proven to work. I mean, it's slowing the outbreaks down in the school system. It's pretty much became like one of the new vaccinations that the kids have to get now. Like in order to go to school, even daycare, whatever, you have to have your vaccinations. The COVID vaccination now is on that list. It's not experiment drug. It's not experiment vaccination or whatever. So it's like it's at the point in time now where it's pretty much mandatory for your child to be vaccinated. It's enough information. There's enough data on this, on the vaccination, and for the kids group, over 5, that you should feel comfortable with vaccinating your children, especially to avoid the outbreaks. I mean, imagine starting school again, and then here we go, going back to remote or whatever. That's what was the problem last year. We kept going back and forth, in and out of remote. We go back to school for 2 weeks. We out for a month. We this, and it actually threw the kids' whole school year off. Shout out to the kids that just had to go through that.
Yes.
And hopefully this year to be a little easier, and the parents that had to get through that, because it was a mess.
Yeah, it was a mess. I think that the reason that the outbreaks cause the issues is that when too many people get infected, that can cause doctor's office, hospitals to become overwhelmed. We can't afford to have that. So then you got to take the kids out of school, keep them home so they're not spreading it to more people and getting more people sick. But we do know that when you're vaccinated, you spread it to less people. So it's not that you can spread it, but instead of spreading it to 6 people, you're going to spread it to maybe 1 person. And that's a big difference when you're thinking about the burden that's being placed on the healthcare system if people are testing positive and getting sick from coronavirus. Leslie, can you put up the picture of the schedule? Because I want to show you, I know a lot of people talk about, well, they started off with 2 doses and now they need 3, and then they want us to get the second booster now in certain populations. And for the children that's less than 5, I was reading that they're going to get 3 doses. And I wanted to show you all that 3 doses is normal. It's not uncommon for people to require more than 1 dose for any vaccines, especially for children. For example, hepatitis B is a vaccine that requires 3 doses, and you get these as children. Not only do you get them as children, your child gets a hepatitis B shot before they leave the hospital. So on their birthday, their actual birthday, when they're born, before they leave the hospital, they are going to get hepatitis B vaccine. And so it's not uncommon to require multiple doses. It's not something that's going to get them sick or cause them to have risk. It's just that in order for them to mount the immune response that's needed to protect them, it takes 2 or 3 or 4 for the DTaP vaccine, which is diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus. That requires 5 doses. So from the time that your child is young, over a period of time, you get 5 doses of that. I think up to 11. You may get your last dose at 10 or something. I can't remember the schedule, but I know it's 5 doses altogether. And then we get them every 10 years. And so it's not uncommon to require multiple doses. Don't be alarmed by that. It's just what's necessary for the kids to get the immune response that's needed to protect them. Leslie, did you get that picture of the vaccine schedule? I'm sorry, y'all. Make sure it went through.
Is that it, Doc?
Let me see. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So you can see hepatitis B is at the top. That's the first dose that you get at birth. And then you get 3 doses altogether. When you look at the third one, that's the DTaP I was talking about. The 4th dose is given by 1.5 years old. Well, 1 year old and 3 months, they have already gotten 4 doses of a DTaP. So it's not uncommon. And if you look at all the vaccines going down there, you'll see that they all require multiple doses. Now, if you go to the bottom where it says MMR, varicella, the kids don't get their first dose until they're 1, but then they get another dose after that. The MMR is a 2-dose vaccine, and the varicella is also a 2-dose vaccine. So, just know that it's not uncommon for kids to require more than 1 vaccine. And Dr. Thomas, I know you're listening in. Is there anything that I'm missing about that you want to add in? Maybe.
Can I see that?
Maybe I covered it all. Oh yeah, I see her in the chat. Okay, perfect. Okay. Let me think. So what was I saying? So yeah, so don't be alarmed when the kids have to get 3 doses. That's totally normal.
It definitely is. I mean, it really is. I mean, we don't question those. We don't question the vaccination. We never did. We just go to the scheduled appointment of the baby getting 2 shots today. How many shots the baby get? The baby come on with 5 Band-Aids. So, I mean, this is just something that we have to add on, to our protection list, because that's basically what it is. I actually saved Band-Aids when my kids was little, and it was a lot of Band-Aids. So I'm just saying, like, I really wasn't that involved in like how I am now with awareness, and it wasn't people, like it wasn't doctors like you, especially of color, just informing us of what's going on. So, I mean, this is really important. Like, I mean, we need to add this on our list as far as, the protection list for our children. We don't want to keep sending our kids out, especially to someone whose household is not vaccinated and we're not vaccinated. So now we're putting that together, and then we're risking everybody or your child. You never know how your child might take to the receiving COVID. You never know. So
yeah, it's very true. And George, you asked a really good question earlier when we were prepping. You wanted to know, how many Black kids were involved in the trials. And so Dr. Thomas found some information, and this is for the trials for the 6 to 11-year-olds. So this is not for the trials for the little ones just yet. I don't know if they have published those results yet, but at least for the 6 to 7-year-olds, for the Moderna vaccine, there were 309 Black children involved who received the vaccine.
Wow.
And then about 100 children that were involved that did not receive the vaccine. So that was about 300, kids that received the Moderna vaccine in that 6 to 11-year-old group during their clinical study. Now, of course, many more have been vaccinated since then, but at least during the clinical trials that helped to get approved for the emergency use authorization, that's what the numbers were. And then for the Pfizer and BioNTech vaccine, there were 90 kids in the vaccine group and about 58 who did not get the vaccine. They were in the placebo group. So there was some representation there. For the Moderna group, it was about 10% of the population of the entire group of people that were studied were Black children. So that's not too far from the population that we make up as a people in America. I think we're at about 13%. So 10% of the kids that were studied in the Moderna group, the 6 to 11-year-old group, was Black.
Right.
In the Pfizer group, it was only 6% of the kids that were studied who were Black. So about half of what's represented by the population. It's hard to recruit Black people in clinical trials.
Right.
Because we not doing Tuskegee no more. Like, you ain't tricking us no more. So it's like all these things that happened in the past that affect how we feel about things today. And it's like, why should we trust you now? What have you done for me to trust you now? And it's hard to overcome all the things that have been done that are still being done to Black people today to get us to want to do experimental things. It's just hard to overcome that. So we did do a show with Dr. Lynham that talked about the changes that happened during the clinical trial process. So y'all can go through, scroll, probably back to like, I don't know, March or something, March or April. It was a while ago. But Dr. Karima Lynham came on and talked about the clinical trial process and what has changed since the Tuskegee experiment. A lot has changed. They had to change because that was ridiculous. It was absurd.
Right. So, I mean, Doc. I mean, you keep hitting it on the nose, and we can't stop reiterating and keep repeating this stuff. But it's the truth. I mean, it's just time for us to catch up. I mean, again, it's for our whole household. So if you're vaccinated, it only makes sense for your whole household to be vaccinated. That means you're all protected. I mean, of course, you still want to keep washing your hands more frequently. I mean, that's important. We touch a lot of things, especially kids. So, it's just like being a child, that's part of it. Just touching stuff. Kids is always germy. So the vaccination is a big part of the household. Right? And we just going to keep pushing it every week. I was like you. I was opposed to it for me, and I definitely was opposed to it for the younger children. But, as time went on, as the data started coming out and the research and certain things, and I seen how things was opening up and putting less stress on the hospitals and less stress on just the whole atmosphere of the healthcare department. I mean, it just makes sense. So we just got to catch up and get them kids vaccinated. I mean, we won't wait for the booster till the winter come, but right now, if they're not vaccinated, at least get them on the list as vaccination and get it in that system so that, they'll be ready for anything to come.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's really important. And I think there's a lot of it. I mean, billions of people have been vaccinated by now. If there was a big problem with the vaccines, we already know about it. It's already been announced. It's very unlikely that anything new is going to come up. So please do what you can so that you're not mourning someone over a disease that has a vaccine. And when you have questions, ask someone who you know and ask someone who you trust, who knows what they're talking about. So just encouraging y'all to do that. Now, when we started out in Yates at the barbershop, folks was like, how y'all going to start in Yates? Why y'all ain't come to Chester? I'm not coming to Yates to get my vaccine. Why y'all all the way out there? So we was in Chester last week. We ain't see y'all. We saw all the older people that wanted to get their boosters in autumn, but we ain't see nobody else.
Right.
George, what was they saying?
He was just saying, come on out. Like the older folks was happy. They was ready. But I mean, again, like you say, our job is to get everybody vaccinated. So we back out in the city this weekend, at a great event. You could tell them, Doc, about the sponsorship and all that.
So we'll be at the Chester Day Festival at Chester Park. We're not doing vaccines. Don't be coming out there looking for vaccines, talking about, if y'all was doing vaccines, I get my vaccine. Why y'all not doing the vaccine? We are just doing education. We are going to be there to answer questions, to play some games, and to have some fun, and make sure you have the information that you need so that the following weekend, June 18th, Father's Day, Juneteenth weekend, we turning up. We got 3 events that day, 2 vaccine clinics. One is going to be at Subaru Park. We got a flyer for that one. Tie on one for prostate and colon cancer with Local 413. We're doing a vaccine clinic down at Subaru Park. So come down and get your COVID shot, first dose, second dose boosters. We'll have all 3 vaccines there. There are all the details. Take a screenshot of that. And you'll also get some really good information on prostate and colon cancer. They are going to be giving out colon cancer kits so that you can go home and test yourself and do a little screening at home to see if you're at risk for colon cancer. So come out, take advantage of that. I want to just mention, I actually got a mammogram done this morning And so just trying to take care of myself and make sure that I'm good. I'm way overdue. So I went and did that this morning. So we got to make sure we are making decisions that could save our life, that are keeping us healthy. And these screenings are critically important because a lot of times we don't get diagnosed until it is too late, especially for cancer. It's spread. And now we're in stage 3 and stage 4. And there's really not a lot that can be done if you're not responding to treatment. It's just, you got to catch these things early. So let's take advantage of these events where they're free. There's information, and come out and just do what you got to do to save yourself. On June 18th, we're also going to be at a Juneteenth celebration in Darby at the Rec Center. Shout out to George for getting that all set up. Damn. So we'll have a flyer for that in a few days, and you'll see that circulating through CMP.net's Facebook and Instagram. But yeah, so we out here every weekend.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're doing. We just going to keep educating the community and making you feel more comfortable. You hearing it for your own folks. Just come on and listen to us. Even if you're not ready to get vaccinated, at least come ready to get some education on it.
Yes.
Just make the decision. So it's, again, not to force you to do anything, is to just give you the proper information. So that'll help you make a decision and make it easier for you, because everybody weighing it. I mean, the people that's not vaccinated yet, even for their children, because I know people that's vaccinated and their children are not. So just come on out, get the information. We have all the information you need. We got the doc, don't handle our business. We got Tyon in the back. We got doctors all over the place. So we ready. We got Arsenal back here. So just come on out and see us every time we out and about in the community, because that's where it really count. And we'll definitely be out there this weekend. So
yes. And as always, if you have any questions along the way, if you think of something and you don't have a primary care doctor to call, or you don't have anyone to call to answer your questions, you can always call or text me at 267-322-0470. So please do that. I will get back to you. If I don't answer, I'll get right back to you. Right. So thanks everybody for tuning in to today's show. We will see you Saturday at Chester Park. I think it starts at 11. So we'll be out there.
Right at the festival. All right, folks, have a good one.